A caretaker committee will be set up to oversee the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Program following the suspension of its coordinator, Charles Dokubo, on the 29th of February. But concerns are being expressed over this development in the Niger Delta, with particular focus on allegations of corruption, which has led to the sack of 2 coordinators in less than 5 years. Ovietime George has details.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta, they came to submit their arms in acceptance of the Presidential Amnesty Program introduced by former President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua in 2009.
Amnesty Program was a bribe to the people who surrendered arms, laid down arms, that they are not going to fight. They are no longer part of the just struggle for resource ownership, resource takeover, and the liberation of the Jaw land.
Major General Godwin Abbey, retired, served as chairman of the Presidential Amnesty Committee. But Ndutimi Alaibe was the first to be appointed special advisor on Niger Delta affairs and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program in 2009.
You are going to be engaged.
Peace has returned.
Kingsley Kemabradia Kuku manned the office from 2011 to 2015 when Muhammadu Buhari emerged president and appointed Brigadier General Paul Burrow, retired, as coordinator. Pockets of protests from different phases of the Presidential Amnesty Program were recorded in the past, but somehow became more pronounced in Paul Burrow's tenure. Allegations of corruption led to the sack of the retired Brigadier General, but it did not end there.
We can enhance and empower people to work.
His successor, Professor Charles Dokubo, had to contend with the same pressure, particularly from the youth of the oil-rich Niger Delta.
When you bring people who are coming to speak English on behalf of federal government and on behalf of political parties in the Niger Delta, it will fail and there will be corruption. So I am not surprised that there is corruption.
The signs were ominous that the professor will be going the way of the retired military officer, and many were not surprised when the suspension came on the 29th of February this year. If Paul Burrow stayed in office for less than 3 years, Charles Dokubo only lasted for less than 2 years.
I want to appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari that in this particular game, an interim committee is not the solution. Appoint a substantive coordinator from amongst the avalanche of people, qualified people from the Niger Delta area, particularly from the Just Talk.
This program is a program for the Niger Delta ex-militants. And of course, you will agree with me that 90 to 95% of the ex-militants are Ijaw people. So anything short of appointing an Ijaw man that understands the pain of the Ijaw people, where our lands have been polluted all this while, is unacceptable to us.
The 3 cardinal objectives of the Presidential Amnesty Program are disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration. But the third aspect of it seems to be facing the challenge of a recurring decimal of corruption as a cog in the wheel of the progress of the region, where the youth are yearning for capacity-building initiatives. Ovietime George, TVC News, Yenagoa.